Hello dear students and welcome to this new lesson in the series of English lessons on the أونروا Satellite TV channel. Welcome back. Dear students, last week I came across a tourist in my city. The tourist was looking everywhere for help. He didn't know what to do. I approached him and offered some suggestions and offers. Now imagine yourselves in the same situation. Imagine that you'd like to offer help or to give suggestion. Can you do so? Then follow us in today's lesson, which is making offers and suggestions. Making offers and suggestions. Now, to start our lesson, let's begin with the suggestions. The first part we have is the suggestions. In this part, dear students, we are going to learn how to give suggestions and how to suggest something to a friend or to some people. Now, dear students, to learn about suggestions and to start this part, let's look at John's story while he and his friends were in this sinking ship. Let's read about John and the sinking ship. John and his friends are on a ship in the sea. Their ship is sinking and they need to decide what to take in their life raft. John and his friends started to suggest the things to be taken. Look, dear students, look at this picture. John and the friends are deciding what to take in the life raft. Now, let's read the dialogue that happened between John and his friends in order to take things in the life raft.
Let's take the emergency blanket.
I disagree. It isn't the most important thing. Why don't we take some food instead?
That sounds great. If we take food, we won't die out of hunger. And how about taking a compass?
That's a good idea. I agree with it.
What about taking a rope as well? Okay, we may need one. Also, we could take a first aid kit.
That would be okay. I suggest we take some sun cream.
I disagree. Me neither. This is a bad idea.
Okay, dear students, now let's read the dialogue once more.
Let's take the emergency blanket.
I disagree. It isn't the most important thing. Why don't we take some food instead?
That sounds great. If we take food, we won't die out of hunger. And how about taking a compass?
That's a good idea. I agree with it.
What about taking a rope as well? Okay, we may need one. Also, we could take a first aid kit.
That would be okay. I suggest we take some sun cream.
I disagree. Me neither. This is a bad idea.
Now, dear students, after reading the dialogue between John and his friends for 2 times, what do you think of the dialogue? What did you notice? Here, John and his friends were giving, thank you very much, they were giving suggestions. They were giving suggestions. Now, let's have a closer look at some of the suggestions they suggested. Here, they said, let's take the emergency blanket. Look at this suggestion. Let's take the emergency blanket. Another suggestion, why don't we take some food? Why don't we take some food? Another suggestion, what about taking a rope? What about taking a rope? Another one, how about taking a compass? How about taking a compass? We could take a first aid kit. We could take a first aid kit. And the last suggestion was, I suggest we take some sun cream. I suggest we take some sun cream. All these, dear students, are suggestions. All these are suggestions. Now, what are the ways or the forms we use to suggest something? Now, before answering this question, let's look at another dialogue with this example. Here, we have a dialogue between Khalid and his friend Abed.
It's raining outside. I think we will be wet.
What about staying inside until it stops raining?
Okay, then let's have a cup of tea until it stops.
That's good. But why don't we have some cake with the tea?
How about some biscuits instead of the cake?
I agree. But I suggest we have less sugar in the tea. Now, dear students, let's listen to the dialogue again in order to emphasize the suggestion.
It's raining outside. I think we will be wet.
What about staying inside until it stops raining?
Okay, then let's have a cup of tea until it stops.
That's good. But why don't we have some cake with the tea?
How about some biscuits instead of the cake?
I agree. But I suggest we have less sugar in the tea. Alright, after we have read the dialogue, let's answer our question. How can we make a suggestion? Let's look here. When making suggestions, we use the following phrases. When making suggestions, we use the following phrases. Let's have the first phrase we use to make suggestions. Let's plus the infinitive form of the verb. The first way we make suggestions of is by using let's plus the infinitive form. Let's look at this example. It's raining. Let's take an umbrella. Again, it's raining. Let's take an umbrella. Here, dear students, we have let's plus the infinitive form. Let's take. Let's look at another form of making suggestions. Here, number 2, we form suggestions by using how or what about plus a gerund form. How about or what about plus a gerund form. Let's look at this example. It's stopped raining. How about watching a film? Or what about watching a film? Again, dear students, the second way we form suggestions of is by using how about or what about plus the gerund form. Here we have how about watching or what about watching. What I mean by gerund form is the verb plus the ing. Let's look at another way of making suggestions. In this way, we use why don't plus a subject plus the infinitive form. Again, why don't plus a subject plus the infinitive form. Let's look at this example. It's stopped raining. Why don't we go to see a film? Look at this suggestion again. Why don't we go to see a film? Look at this structure, dear students. Why don't plus subject plus the infinitive form. Why don't we go to see a film? Let's look at another way of making suggestions. We can say, I suggest we plus the infinitive. I suggest we plus the infinitive. Look at this example. It's stopped raining. I suggest we go to see a film. I suggest we go to see a film. Look here. I suggest we plus the infinitive. So, dear students, these are the 4 ways we can make suggestions. But a suggestion can be agreed with or disagreed with. What are the ways that we can show agreement on a suggestion? Let's look here. Showing agreement. Showing agreement or acceptance. Here we can say, that's a great idea or that's a good idea. When somebody suggests something good and you'd like to agree with the suggestion, you can say, That's a great idea or that's a good idea. Can you suggest other agreement forms? Thank you very much. Here we have that sounds great. That sounds great or that sounds good. Or easily we can say I agree. So these are the ways we show agreement or acceptance on a suggestion. Let's read them again. That's a great idea or that's a good idea. That sounds great or good, or I agree. What if you disagree with a suggestion? What do you say in case you disagree with a suggestion? Let's look here, showing disagreement or refusal. Let's look here. We can say I disagree. I disagree. Or that's a bad idea. That's a bad idea. Or we can say I don't think that is a good suggestion. I don't think that's a good suggestion. So dear students, in case somebody suggested something that you don't agree with, you can say I disagree, that's a bad idea, or I don't think that is a good suggestion. Now dear students, let's have a short break, then we continue our lesson after it. Be with us. Welcome back. Now dear students, after we have learned about making suggestions and we have learned how to make a suggestion, what do you suggest for the next slide? Thank you very much. Here it's time to practice. Let's practice what we have talked about. The first exercise we have, what would you say in each of the following situations? Again, what would you say in each of the following situations? Look at the first situation. Here, you would like to take a picture of the giraffe. Again, you would like to take a picture of the giraffe. This is you, and you'd like to take a picture with the giraffe. How can you suggest this? Thank you very much. Here, we can say, let's take a picture of the giraffe. The first suggestion, let's take a picture of the giraffe. Or, what about taking a picture of the giraffe? What about taking, or how about taking a picture of the giraffe? So we can say, what about taking? How about taking a picture of the giraffe? Or let's take a picture of the giraffe. Also we can say, why don't we take a picture of the giraffe? Let's have another situation. Look here. You would like the group to go to the next room. You would like the group to go to the next room. Look, this is you. You'd like to suggest them to go to the next room. What suggestions can you suggest? Marvelous. Here we can say, why don't we go to the next room? Why don't we go to the next room? Or, I suggest we go to the next room. I suggest we go to the next room. Or, what about going to the next room? What about going to the next room? So, again, why don't we go? I suggest we go. Or what about going? Or how about going? Now let's move to the next situation. Here, look at Mary and Tony. Mary and Tony. Mary says, I am very tired. Mary, I am very tired. Tony, he'd like to suggest, take rest. Can you make a suggestion by using take rest? Can you make a suggestion? Thank you very much. Here, what or how about taking a rest? We can say, what about taking a rest? Or how about taking a rest? Also, we can say, let's take a rest. Let's take a rest. Or, why don't we take a rest? So again, dear students, let's read the suggestions made by Tony to Mary. What about taking a rest? How about taking a rest? Let's take a rest. Or why don't we take a rest? Now, dear all, let's move to the next situation. Amy says, What's wrong with our car? What's wrong with our car? Adam, the car is broken. Look at the picture. Amy says, what's wrong with our car? Adam replies, the car is broken. If you were in Adam's shoes, what would you suggest? Let's look here. What about calling the garage? How about calling the garage? Let's call the garage, or why don't we call the garage? So dear students, these are the suggestions made by Adam to Amy. Again, what about calling the garage? How about calling the garage? Let's call the garage, and why don't we call the garage? Now let's move to the last situation. Look here, these are Joan and Bill. Joan says, the flight's delayed. The flight's delayed. Here, Bill replies, yes, go for a drink. Go for a drink. Can you suggest going for a drink? Thank you very much. Look at the suggestions. The first suggestion is, let's go for a drink. Let's go for a drink. Another suggestion, why don't we go for a drink? Why don't we go for a drink? Okay, now dear students, let's have another exercise, which is complete the following sentences. Complete the following sentences. Number one, why don't we, between the brackets we have to make. Again, why don't we to make a birthday party for my grandma? Again, why don't we to make a birthday party for my grandma? Look, dear students, the structure we have here to make the suggestion is why don't we? Why don't plus the subject. What comes after the subject here? Why don't we here to make? What should we use? Thank you very much. We should use the infinitive form of the verb. So here, why don't we make a birthday party for my grandma? Can you agree with this suggestion? Can you agree with this suggestion? Thank you very much. Of course, we can agree by saying, I agree, that's a good idea, that's a great idea, or that sounds good. Let's move on. Number two, what about, here we have the verb invite, all our neighbors to the party. Dear students, we handled two forms of what about and how about in making suggestions. What about plus a gerund and how about plus a gerund. And we said that a gerund is the verb plus the ing form. So, what about? Marvelous, thank you very much. What about inviting all our neighbors to the party? Number three, suggestion, we make it as surprise to everyone. I what? Thank you a lot. I suggest. This is another way of suggestion. Let's read it. I suggest we make it as a surprise to everyone. Number four, yes, and I suggest we buying some candies and cakes. Again, yes, and I suggest we buying. After I suggest comes what? Thank you very much. Comes the infinitive form. So here, I suggest we buy, not buying. Yes, and I suggest we buy some candies and cakes. Now, dear all, let's have another exercise, which is choose the correct answer. Choose the correct answer. Look, number one, why go to a museum? Why go to a museum? Look here. Why don't we? Why don't we to? Or why don't? What do you think? Thank you very much. Here, why don't we go to a museum? Why don't we go to a museum? Number two, let's for a meal. Let's what? Is it let's to go out, or let's going out, or let's go out? What comes after let's? Of course, the infinitive form. So the correct answer is Let's go out for a meal. Let's go out for a meal. Number 3, how about this weekend? What comes after how about and what about? Of course, the gerund form. So here, how about to visit? How about visiting friends? Or how about visit? Thank you very much. How about visiting friends this weekend? Now, dear students, I have a suggestion. The suggestion is, how about taking a break? Do you agree or disagree? Since you agree, then let's have this short break, then we continue after it. Be with us. Welcome back. Now, dear students, after we have talked about making suggestions, now it's time to handle making offers. In this part, we are going to learn how to make offers. Let's go ahead. Here we have a tourist and we have a boy. The boy says, "Can I help you? Can I help you?" The tourist replies, "Yes, please. I'd like to." Yes, please, I'd like to. What do you think has the boy done? Thank you very much. He has offered help. Let's look again. Can I help you? This is a kind of offering help. The boy can say also, "Will I help you? Will I help you?" He can also offer help by saying, "Shall I help you?" So we can say, "Can I help you? Will I help you?" or "Shall I help you?" to offer help. Let's look at the tourist's response. Yes, please, I'd like to. Does the tourist accept the offer or not? He says, "Yes, please, I'd like to." Of course, he accepts the offer. Let's look here. Would you like anything else? Look at the waiter. The waiter in the restaurant says, "Would you like anything else?" The customer responds, "No, thank you." Again, here, the waiter is offering help. He says, "Would you like anything else?" Look at the customer, "No, thank you." Another situation. This man is looking for his key. Look at that boy. He offers help. "Would you like me to look for your key?" Again, "Would you like me to look for your key?" Look at the man's response. "That would be very kind of you." That would be very kind of you. So the boy offers help by saying, "Would you like me to look for the key?" And the man says, "That would be very kind of you." Let's look at another situation. Look at this granddad. He offers something to his granddaughter. He says, "How about a new story? How about a new story?" Look at the girl. "If you don't mind. If you don't mind." This is another way of offering. Now, dear students, after we have read these mini dialogues, let's look at the offers made at them. The first offer we saw in the mini dialogue was, "Can or shall or will I help you?" So this is the first way we can make an offer. Can I help you? Shall I help you? Or will I help you? Another offer we came across in the mini dialogues was, "Would you like anything else?" Would you like anything else? And of course, this is another way of expressing offer. Also, we saw, "Would you like me to look for your key?" Would you like me to look for your key? And this is another way of offering. The last offer we came across was, "How about a new story?" How about a new story? So, these are the 4 offers we saw in the mini dialogues. Now, dear all, we can say that these are all offers. These are offers. Let's move ahead. Here, we have some phrases to use when making offers. Look here. When making offers, we use the following phrases. Look at the first phrase. Can, shall, or will plus I plus an infinitive. Can, shall, or will plus I plus an infinitive. Look at this example. Can I open the door for you? Or shall I open the door for you? Or will I open the door for you? This is the first way of making offers. Let's look at the second way of making offers. Would you like plus a noun, or would you like to plus a verb? Again, would you like plus a noun, or would you like to plus a verb? Let's have an example of the first structure. Would you like some tea? Would you like some tea? Look here. Would you like plus a noun? The first structure, would you like plus a noun. Would you like some tea? The second form is would you like to plus a verb. Let's look at this example. Would you like to drink some tea? These, dear students, are two ways of offering. Let's read them again. Would you like some tea? Would you like to drink some tea? Number 3. Would you like me to plus an infinitive. The third way of making offers is would you like me to plus infinitive. Let's look at this example. Would you like me to make some tea for you? Let's look at this offer again. Would you like me to make some tea for you? Here, would you like me to make some tea for you? What would you like me to do? Moving to the fourth way of making offers. Then let's go. In number 4, how about plus a noun? How about plus a noun? Let's look at this offer. How about some cake? How about some cake? So, dear students, these are the 4 ways we make offers. Now let's have another example in order to learn more about how making offers. Here we have a dialogue between an assistant and Nader. Let's read the dialogue together.
Can I help you?
No thanks. I'm just having a look with another shop assistant. Let's have another mini dialogue. Adam offers, would you like a hand? Would you like a hand? The tourist, yes please. Do you know where the post office is? Let's move to another mini dialogue between Hiba and her friend. Hiba says, shall I help you with your math problem? Shall I help you with your math problem? This is offering help. Her friend Suha says, yes please. That would be very nice of you. That would be very nice of you. Here, dear students, we have another mini dialogue between a son and his parents. The son asks, would you like a cup of tea, parents? Would you like a cup of tea, parents? Here, dad says, no thanks, or no thank you. No thanks or no thank you. Mom, yes please, I'd love one. Yes please, I'd love one. Let's move to the next mini dialogue between the daughter and her mom. The daughter says, would you like me to do the ironing for you, mom? The daughter is offering help. Again, would you like me to do the ironing for you, mom? The mom says, if you wouldn't mind. If you wouldn't mind. Now, dear students, for an offer, it can be accepted or refused. Let's look at the ways we can accept an offer. The ways of acceptance. We can show acceptance by saying, thank you, that would be great. Thank you, that would be great. Or, that would be very kind of you. That would be very kind of you. Or, yes please, that would be lovely. Or, yes please, I'd like or I'd love to. These are the ways we can accept an offer. What about the ways we can refuse an offer? Let's look at the ways of refusal. We can reject or refuse an offer by saying, "It's okay, I can do it myself," or "Don't worry, I'll do it," or "No, thank you," or "No, thanks." These are the ways we can refuse or reject an offer. Now, dear students, it's time to practice what we have talked about. And the first exercise we have is, what would you say in each of the following situations? What would you say in each of the following situations? The first situation, look at this kid. He's holding a very heavy bag. Here, you see a kid carrying a heavy bag. You see a kid or someone carrying a heavy bag. How would you offer help in this case? Thank you very much. We can say, "Can I help you?" "Shall I help you?" or "Will I help you?" We also can say, "Would you like me to carry it for you?" "Would you like me to carry it for you?" Look at the second situation. Your mother feels terribly thirsty. Your mother feels terribly thirsty. Look at her. She's thirsty. How can you offer help? What offer can we do in this situation? Thanks a lot. We can say, "Shall I bring you a cup of water?" "Shall I bring you a cup of water?" Or, "Would you like me to bring you some water?" "Would you like me to bring you some water?" These are the ways we can follow in order to offer help. Look at this situation. Your classmate can't answer a question. Your classmate can't answer a question. How can you offer help? Marvelous. You can say, "Can I help you?" "Would you like a hand?" "Would you like a hand?" or "Can I help you?" So far, dear students, we have talked about making offers and suggestions in this lesson. I hope the lesson was interesting and beneficial at the same time. Until I see you next time, have a good day and goodbye.